Pompey Sound, your hourly update from Fratton Park, sponsored by Piglet's Pantry, the home of award-winning and handmade food on the South Coast.
It has been all change once more in East Yorkshire when it comes to a new manager, with Sergei Zakirovic the latest to be handed the reins at the MKM Stadium by Tigers owner Akun Ilikali, following the surprise sacking of previous head coach Ruben Selles. No fewer than 15 new players arrived at City last summer, and given their lowly championship finish in 2024-25, there's likely to be further squad churn to come under the new manager, and that could mean an exit for Kamara, who didn't do a lot to impress in his debut season with the club. One particular divisional rival would be happy to take advantage, however. According to a report from the Hull Daily Mail as part of a transfer roundup, Portsmouth would love to reunite with Kamara this summer, if City are willing to part company with the 21-year-old. The left-footed forward is of course highly revered among the fan base of the South Coast club thanks to his loan stint during the 2023-24 season, which provided him the platform to secure his £4.5 million transfer from Norwich City to Hull on deadline day in August 2024. Operating primarily as a right winger for Pompey under head coach John Messinho, Kamara scored 8 League One goals and also notched 10 assists as they stormed to the third-tier title, but their chances of him returning last summer were always slim as Norwich were expected. However, after 2 championship cameos and an outing in the EFL Cup, Norwich sold Kamara to Hull in a 7-figure deal after he handed in a transfer request 10 days before the deadline. Despite the fact the Canaries had no intention of selling the forward at the time, Kamara endured a somewhat difficult first year at Hull, but he did end the season with 5 league goals and 3 assists from his 36 appearances for the Tigers, and it remains to be seen if Zakirovic wants him around for the 2025-26 season. Hull's pursuit of Algerian winger Adel Balbina though, whilst they're set to miss out on him as he readies himself for Qatari outfit Al Duhail, suggests they're in the market for a fresh face or two out wide, and that could push Kamara down the pecking order when the likes of Liam Millar and Mohamed Baloumi have fully recovered from their respective knee injury setbacks. There were some difficult moments for Kamara in his debut season at City, including being wheeled out in a press conference by then-manager Selles after receiving backlash over an Instagram comment towards former Portsmouth teammate Paddy Lane, but he started to show signs of life in the second half of the season.
Do I remember correctly that he congratulated Paddy Lane for an international call-up, and some Hull fans thought that was out of order, being a decent bloke, out of order. Being kind and friendly to a friend, out of order. If that's the case, then I don't know why we had so much sympathy for Hull on the last day of the season when they needed to get something from us and got a point and stayed up. And we were all going around wishing them well, saying good luck to you. Did the backlash that Kamara received after being kind and friendly to Paddy Lane, did that put him off his game? Did that lead to him shrinking in confidence? We know that he's a confidence player. He didn't have much confidence when he first started playing for us, but the management persevered and they knew what they were doing. They massaged his confidence, his ego, his belief. And boy, what a player he became. And wow, have we missed him? Yes, we've missed him this season. Yep, we've got some pretty good stand-ins. Bombing down the right wing, but Kamara to have him back would be a dream come true. We've said this before and before and before on Pompey Sound, to have Josh belting at them down the left, Kamara going at them down the right, Colby Bishop in the 6-yard box waiting for it to happen, Lang just suddenly appearing as he does at the very right moment and scoring a few. We will be a potent force. It would turn us completely around from being a team which will probably start the season being grateful for a win here and an away point there, to a team that everybody in the division will take notice of and be frightened to come down here and play us. And Kamara has it in him to make that turnaround. Just him. Oh, we need some other faces, of course. We know that central midfield does need shoring up. Yes. But top of our list at Pompey Sound is Abu Kamara. How about you?
Portsmouth's eye for A-League talent could be turning towards Sydney FC's breakout star Adrian Segičić. The Blues, who've had success recruiting from down under before, are reportedly watching the 20-year-old attacking midfielder who's been lighting up the Australian top flight. Sergacic shared the A-League Golden Boot after banging in 13 goals in 24 games this season, while also chipping in with 2 assists. His stellar performances earned him Sydney FC's Player of the Year award, despite the club's mid-table finish. The versatile youngster has proven he can do damage anywhere across the front line, and he's been making waves in Asia too, scoring 5 times in the AFC Champions League too. His stock rose even further when he set up the winner for the ASEAN All-Stars in their recent upset over Manchester United in Malaysia. Sergacic is no stranger to European football, having spent 2022-24 with Dutch outfit Dordrecht. Rapid Vienna looked set to snap him up on a free transfer as his Sydney contract winds down, but that deal has reportedly fallen through, with Championship clubs now circling. While the identity of the interested Championship side remains under wraps, sources tell the news that Sergacic is definitely on Pompey's radar as they continue their successful tradition of A-League recruitment.
If there's anything in this rumour, would it be wise of us to be a little cautious in overloading with Australian A-League players? They're good value, they're good players. But we have this experience of losing Kusini Yengi because of his travel commitments, going halfway around the world to warm a subs bench, basically, because he doesn't want to turn his country down. And Australians can be very patriotic. And so we could be in a situation where in the middle of the season we find ourselves, if we've got 4 Australians, we could see ourselves deprived of 4 of our first team players for a period of time if they go off to play in America. They'll presumably, that will allow us to postpone a game if we've got 4 players called up for international duty in the middle of the Pacific. But all the same, what complicates it besides that is the simple fact that Yengi injured himself training with Australia, an injury which we believe was magnified by the cabin pressure changes on takeoff and landing that happens in a plane. And it's documented. We found the documentation, the medical proof that an injury, where there has been swelling, an injury is made worse by flying, especially long-distance flying. So there's those things to consider. All in all, I don't think they stack up as being a bunch of reasons which mean that we should turn our attention to Scotland or Holland or somewhere, if it's not going to be England, rather than Australia, because Australia is such a rich goldmine of very, very reasonably priced young talent. And it's what we're in the market for. So, fingers crossed there is something in this rumour, and I'm off to Google him. Have a look on YouTube. If you want to as well, it's spelt Segecic. And I've heard it pronounced Sergacic.
Norwich City defender Jonathan Tompkinson is attracting plenty of attention across League One and some Championship clubs, with the 23-year-old out of contract this summer at Carrow Road. The centre-back found it difficult to forge a place in the Canaries squad after graduating from their academy, making just 3 first-team appearances, and it was no surprise to see him confirmed as one of the 16 players to be leaving Carrow Road this summer at the end of his contract. Loan spells at Stevenage, Bradford City and, most recently, Ross County have the American ready to make that step into regular senior football at whatever club he signs for. A host of League One clubs are interested in the towering centre-half, namely Stockport County, Reading and Rotherham United, as well as Championship side Portsmouth.
OK, if we are up against Stockport, Reading, Rotherham et al., that means that Portsmouth Pompey will be a very favourable destination for him. It'll be a good career move for him, rather than stepping down to League One. But is he any good? There's very little known about him. And Football League World, who put that piece together that we've just heard, were reduced to asking their resident Rotherham expert, whether he was a player that Rotherham could use and would cherish. And his reply was very succinct. I've never heard of him. So, they're honest up north. Brief and to the point, never heard of him. He's a towering figure. I think he's nearer 6'5" than 6'4", but we've got all the centre-halves we need if they're all fit and well. Can he play elsewhere? There is a rumour that he started out as a right winger. You don't get many 6'5" right wingers, do you? I'm not suggesting that he comes into the side for the number 7 shirt, but he's versatile, and we know John Messino likes versatile players.